Conversation on streamlining NGOs, the NGO sector in the country. And before we took the break, we were talking about, of course, partnerships and how to get rid of NGOs financing, that is terrorism or cybercrimes and other irregularities in the country. Now, perhaps, Mr. Mutuma, you can talk to us about the key challenges that are faced as a board, and perhaps how do you intend to overcome these challenges as a whole?
I would like to say from the onset, of course, every institution has got its own challenges. And one of the obvious challenges that every institution will have is a lack of enough resources. You know, resources are always scarce, and they're competing interests. So you'll find that as the NGO Coordination Board, we are working closely with our mother ministry and the treasury to see that we strengthen our resource basket. We need to strengthen various departments that can help us to minimize those incidents whereby the public is defrauded of their resources, where people conceal resources to finance terrorism, or they do money laundering in the country. We need to strengthen our monitoring and research department. We need to have proper staffing in terms of investigation and enforcement. We need to strengthen our regional offices and open new regional offices so they can monitor those organizations in various regions and see whether there is any cases of irregularities. So one of the biggest challenge, of course, is resources. Of course, capacity in terms of human resource, which, of course, is also closely linked to resources. Of course, we have not operationalized the Public Benefit Organization Act, which was clearly identified in the report. And at the moment, we have an active engagement with the ministry so that we see how we can overcome that challenge, see whether we can operationalize the act and ensure that we are not grey-listed.
All right. And when it comes to the board, what are some of the regulatory frameworks for NGOs that you think should be revised or you think should be improved so that the sector can be we can have a better sector in years to come?
In fact, one of the law that is already established, that has established the NGO Coordination Board, needs to be revised. The regulations that are there in terms of governing the sector needs to be revised. And we have been working on that, but these ones cannot be revised, cannot be taken to Parliament until we make a decision about the PBO Act, which now the government is making considerations on how to deal with that issue. And once that one is done, then we're going to strengthen our act that establishes the NGO Coordination Board. We will strengthen our regulations. We will revise our reporting mechanisms. For example, now we have the annual sector report. There is a format under which we are supposed to report. It's under the regulations. You cannot amend it. We need to amend that so that you can include new indexes, new indicators that can help us to track quickly those organizations that could be deviating from the norm. This one cannot be done now until we are able to amend our regulations. It's something that we are already working on, waiting for the law to be passed so that now we can introduce the new amendments.
So for now, some gaps cannot be filled until the regulation is amended?
Some of them we cannot change any regulation or any law until the PBO Act is passed.
All right, perhaps you can also talk to us about some key priorities and strategies of the NGO board in safeguarding the integrity of NGOs in the country.
Yeah, some of the strategies that we have adopted at the board level, one of the things that we have done is to, as I indicated earlier, is to first of all to enhance our compliance department. We are strengthening the compliance department so that we, on daily basis, it may not be daily basis, so that we are active to ensure that whatever happens at any given time, we are aware of what is being done by these NGOs in the field where their resources are being directed, are they being used for purposes that they have indicated. So our compliance department is one of the key pillars in terms of ensuring that we have integrity in the sector. Number two, we have, as I indicated earlier, we want to strengthen what we call ICM training, Institute of Charity Management. This one, we want need to raise awareness to the NGOs about terrorism financing and anti-money laundering issues, so that those they are aware about these things. Number three, we also need to strengthen our monitoring department, so that they are able to monitor whatever is happening. And lastly, in terms of assessment, in terms of research, we need to strengthen our research and assessment department to ensure that we are on top of things at any given time. We come up with the new recommendations to strengthen the sector, to ensure that we minimize any irregularities that are happening.
All right, perhaps before we wind up, someone might think, opening an NGO is as easy as ABC. Is it really easy? Or what are the steps before one can actually open an NGO in the country?
Well, people have a right to associate. It's a constitutional right that you can open an NGO. The government cannot tell you not to if you comply with the laws.
Yes.
So it is not very difficult if the intentions are clear and if you comply with the law. So like now, if you want to register a national NGO, what you require is, first of all, you have to have a board. You have to have clear objectives, what you want to do. There are some forms that you need to fill. There are some documents you are supposed to submit. For example, the officials that are there, let's say there are 5 officials. Each one of them must give us their, we have to get their, either, their national ID or passport. We have to have a certificate of good conduct from the police. You have to submit to us KRI PIN. We have to need to get your photo, passport photo. And there are certain things, other small documents that you're supposed to submit. Once the 5 of them does that, and they are cleared of all that process, and then they pay the requisite fee. For example, a national NGO, you pay 16,000. If it is international, you pay 30,000. Then we have no business not to register it. So long as your intentions are good and you comply with the law, we will just register.
But that begs the question of perhaps how will you know that my intentions are good if I come to you as the board and I tell you we want to start this organization, this NGO, this is our objectives, this is what we intend to do, and then once you approve me or my organization, don't you think we have now the right, we can do anything? We can either squander the money. Where does it take from there for you guys to ensure that whatever we intended to do, that is what we are doing?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. And, once we register you, because it's very difficult for us to know your intentions. You could even be having good intentions today. After it's registered, the devil comes from somewhere and enters you. Yes. And then you say, hey, I can do ABCD. Yeah. You can break the law. Just like any citizen, you're a citizen. You hear that someone has committed an offense. It is difficult to tell what will happen tomorrow. But for us, what we have done, and of course other government agencies, is to ensure that we strengthen our compliance department. We strengthen our regulatory requirements. We strengthen the reporting mechanism so that once we detect their irregularities, their offenses that are happening, then we're able to act very fast. And also we expect also other government agencies. If there are issues of fraud, there is the police department that is supposed to act fast on those things, because now it's about citizens and complying with the laws of the land. But for us, we know there are those kind of things, and that's why we are strengthening our compliance department, we are strengthening our monitoring department, we are strengthening our investigation and enforcement department. Yes. So
as a Kenyan, for example, if I have an issue with a certain NGO and I want to reach out to you guys, we just get to your website, we report our incident, and then you guys will act on it?
Yes, you can do an email. We have a complaint email, where you can submit complaints. You can do a letter to us. can even call and say there is this organization that is doing ABCD. You don't even have to say, identify yourself, even if you're working for those organizations.
It can be anonymous.
Let it be anonymous. Just report to us. And from there, then we will be able to start the process of investigating those allegations and see whether it is true or not.
And perhaps as we close, some of the cases that perhaps you've forwarded to the DCI, are there any cases of people that have been prosecuted?
Yes, there are cases that already people are in court. And like one case, very interesting case, someone is given an LPO by a fraudulent organization which is registered with us. They deliver sugar, oil, rice, in the name that is being taken to areas that are needed. But these people just carry those goods and sell them somewhere in Italy, and they pocket the money. That case is in other investigations. So when people are told to deliver goods and all that, people have to be careful. The matter is under active prosecution, and we hope it will be concluded whereby whoever is found culpable, necessary legal action is taken.
All right. Executive Director, perhaps you can just give us a parting shot as we wind up.
Thank you very much, Very Grace. What I want to assure the public is that as NGO Coordination Board, we are on top of this. We are focused in terms of ensuring there is sanity in the sector. We will ensure that we enhance all the regulations, all the